Hello friends, I am Pranita Sheshni, the student of Recent Training Center. Today I am here to discuss the technical topic. In that today we are going to discuss the blood. Blood is a vital fluid that circulates throughout the body, delivering essential subjects like oxygen and nutrients to the cells, while also removing the waste products like carbon dioxide and urea. It is integral to various physiological processes such as immune defense, temperature regulation, and maintaining the homeostasis. Blood consists of both liquid and cellular components, each with a specific functions that support the body's overall function and the health. Now, the composition of the blood. In that, blood is a composite of a plasma, the liquid component, and various types of cell suspended within it. On average, blood makes up about 7 to 8% of a person's total body weight, which is roughly 4.5 to 6 liter in an adult. Now, the component first is that is the plasma. Plasma is the pale yellow liquid portion of a blood consisting about 55% of a total blood volume. It is primarily composed of water around 90%, but it also contains proteins, electrolytes, hormones, nutrients, and the waste products. The main component of the plasma includes in that first is the water. There is a 90% water, the primary solvent for the transporting substances. Next, that is the plasma proteins. Plasma protein, there are 8%. These include the albumins, globulins, and the fibrinogens. Next, that is the albumins. Albumins means it helps to maintain the blood volume and osmotic pressure, preventing fluid from leaking out of blood vessels. Next, that is the globulins. It includes the antibodies, immunoglobulins that play a role in immune defense. Next, that is the fibrinogen. It involves a blood clotting. Next, that is the electrolytes such as the sodium, potassium, calcium, and chloride are essential for maintaining blood balance, pH levels, and the nerve functions. Next, that is the nutrients, glucose, amino acids, lipids, and support cellular metabolism. Next, that is the waste products, urea, creatine, and the bilirubin, which are filtered by the kidneys and expected throughout the urine. Next, that is the formed elements. The cellular components of a blood known as formed elements. It is make up of about 45% of a blood volume. These are primarily red blood cells, white blood cells, and the platelets. Each type of cells plays a distinct role in the body. In that first is the red blood cells. Red blood cells are the most abundant type of blood cells consisting approximately 99% of the blood's cellular components. The primary function is the transport of oxygen from the lungs to tissues and the return of carbon dioxide from tissues to the lungs. RBCs are the biconcave disc-shaped cells which increase their surface area for gas exchange. They contain the protein hemoglobins which binds to oxygen and facilitate its transport. The lifespan of the RBCs is around 120 days. Old RBCs are removed by the spleen and the liver, and the iron from the hemoglobin is recycled. Next, that is the white blood cells. It is also called as leukocytes. White blood cells are responsible for defending the body against infections and foreign invaders. These are several types of leukocytes, each with a specialized function. In that, first is the neutrophils. The most abundant type of WBCs are neutrophils are the first responders to bacterial infections and engage in the phagocytosis, engulfing and digesting the pathogens. Next, that is the lymphocytes. These include the cells and the B cells, which are essential for the adaptive immune response. T cells help kill infected cells and regulate the immune responses, while B cells produce the antibodies to the neutralize pathogens. Next, that is the monocytes. These large cells mature into macrophages, which phagocyte pathogens, dead cells, and the debris. Next, that is the eosinophils. It plays a role in combating parasitic infections and modulating the allergic reactions. Next, that is the basophils. It involves in the inflammatory reactions and allergic responses by releasing the histamine. WBCs are much less abundant than RBCs but are crucial for immune defense. They are capable of moving out of blood vessels and into a tissues process called as a diapediasis to fight infections. Next, that is the platelets. Platelets are the small, irregularly shaped cells, fragments involved in the homeostasis, the process of blood clotting. They are derived from the megakaryocytes in the bone marrow and do not have a nucleus. When blood vessels are injured, platelets aggregate at the site of injury, release substances that help from a clot to stop bleeding. Platelets also release the growth factors that aid in the tissue repair. And next, that is the lifespan of the platelets. Platelets have a short lifespan of about 7 to 10 days and are removed by the spleen. Now, the functions of the blood. Blood plays a wide array of vital roles in the maintaining the body's health and homeostasis. First, that is the oxygen and the carbon dioxide transport. The most a well-known function of the blood is the transporting the oxygen from the lungs to the tissues and return to the carbon dioxide. Next, that is the immune defense. White blood cells, that is the leukocytes, are the cornerstones of the body's immune system, protecting the against infection by the recognizing and attacking the pathogens like bacteria, viruses, and the fungi. Blood also carries the antibodies and other immune components that are involved in the adapting the immune responses. Now, the clotting and the homeostasis. Platelets and the plasma proteins such as the fibrinogen work together to form a blood clots in the response to injury, preventing the excessive blood loss. The process is essential for wound healing and the prevention of infection. Then the temperature regulation. Blood helps to regulate the body temperature by distributing heat throughout the body. The hypothalamus in the brain monitors the body temperature and after blood flow to the skin and the extremities or release heat needs. Then the temperature. Now the hormone transport. Blood carries the hormones secreted by the various glands like thyroid, adrenal gland, and the pituitary gland to target the organs where they regulate the processes such as the growth, metabolism, and the reproduction. Now, the blood formation and the regulation. Blood cells are produced in the bone marrow, a spongy tissue found inside a certain bones. This process is called as hematopoiesis and involves the differentiation of stem cells into the various types of blood cells. Hematopoiesis regulated by the growth factors and the hormones such as such as the erythropoietin, colony stimulating factors, and thrombopoietin. In that, erythropoietin means it stimulates the production of red blood cells in the response to low oxygen levels. Colony stimulating factor, that is the CSFs, stimulate the production of the white blood cells. Then thrombopoietin stimulates the production of the blood cells. Once formed, blood cells enter the bloodstream through the bone marrow or in the case of a certain WBCs through the lymphatic spleen. Thrombo lymphatic system. Blood groups and the transfusion. Blood can be classified into different groups Blood groups and the transfusion. Blood can be classified into different groups based on the presence or the absence of certain antigens on the surface of red blood cells. The most well-known blood group system are the ABO system and the RH system. ABO system, that is the blood type AB, and O, are determined the presence or absence of A and B antigens. And RH system, the RH factor determines whether the blood is RH positive or the RH negative, with or that is determined through the with RH antigen present or RH antigen absent. These blood group systems are important for blood transfusion, as transfusing the incompatible blood can lead to serious immune reaction. Now, the common blood disorders, that is the anemia, a condition in which there is a deficiency in the number of red blood cells or the amount of hemoglobin, leading to the decrease in the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood. The symptoms, that is the fatigue, weakness, and the pallor. That is the leukemia, a type of cancer that affects the white blood cells, leading to uncontrolled growth of abnormal WBCs. Then hemophilia, a genetic disorder in the which blood clotting is impaired, leading to prolonged bleeding. Then thrombocytopenia, a condition characterized by a low blood count, increasing the risk of bleeding and the bruising. Thank you friends for listening me today. Today we discuss about the blood system, and what is the composition of the blood and the blood group system. Thank you friends for listening me today. Thank you again.